Glad you're here.
So, welcome to the podcast. So I reached out to you because I wanted to sit down with you and have a conversation. And the main reason why I did that is because I remember when this was just a vision.
Yep.
Like Emmanual Health was strictly a vision. And I know you're a professional, and I know that you have like a lengthy career just in, where do I start? I don't know, like you're a professional, like you're a professor at Bowie State University, you are a veteran, you was a business owner of a barbershop, you I said you were a veteran. I think I hit everything. Oh, you were a fireman. Yeah, for forever. And so like you've been all over the place. Oh, and then like I know that you were in school studying for your PhD for a really long time. Anyway, I remember when Emmanual Health was just a vision. And we sat down and we had a conversation and you were like, nah, this is what I want to do. Like, this is my bag. This is my thing. And so here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Here we are. And so tell us what you do and just give us a rundown of Emmanual Health.
Well, Emmanual Health, it's a long story. I mean, I don't know if we have that much time, but let me just give you a brief after how it all transpired.
Okay.
So years ago, I was probably around 2007. I was at Bowie State University working on a master's degree. One of my professors came up to me and said, "Well, I want you to work on this project with me." And I said, "Well, I'm really trying to focus to, study so I can get out of here because I was trying to transition right into a doctoral program after that." And he's like, "Well, I need you to really work on this project." And so I said, "Okay." So, and he was just as green as I was.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It was the first time he actually had a project. He was the PI, principal investigator, at any rate. So, we project, it was really about engaging our community in Prince George's County. Mm-hmm. It was about providing education and research about specific health issues relative to, men.
Right.
So we worked the project for, I started as the community liaison, and I ended up being the assistant project director.
Okay.
For about maybe 7, 8 years, which is a long time to get grant funding.
It is.
And by the way, we were funded by the Office of Minorities and Health, and we got about $1 million. Yeah, about $1 million.
Call that OMH.
OMH.
What's OMH for those of us that don't know?
Office of Minorities and Health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a 5 historical Black college program. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just Bowie getting the money. It was 5 historically Black colleges. It was a collaborative. It was Bowie State, Morgan. It was Lincoln University of Pennsylvania. Wilberforce, and it was Morehouse School of Medicine. So we had to split that $1 million, and we all got like maybe $120,000 a piece.
Gotcha.
Which isn't a lot of money when you got staff.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money, right? But we did a lot. We saved a lot of people. But at any rate, so the project went on, and we did a lot of work. And then the project ended in 2013.
Okay.
We are a community-based organization started in Prince George's County. We're there to provide an array of health messages for men and families. And we focus with a primary focus on prostate cancer. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we have such a primary focus on prostate cancer is in Prince George's County, there's 100 counties in the state of Maryland. And Prince George's County at that time had mostly the highest incidence, meaning the time frame when men are diagnosed with the disease. And we had the highest mortality, meaning we died more from any other male race group. And it's not just we die more in the state of Maryland, but we die more globally. Mm-hmm. So African American men have the highest incidence of mortality globally. And so let me say this too. It's not just African American men, it's men of African descent. Our brothers in the Caribbean, our brothers in Africa, worldwide, we have this high incidence of mortality,
Okay.
prostate cancer. So at that time, I was reading. I had no idea that was going to be that God was setting the course.
Sure.
For me to move forward with Emmanual Education Incorporated, and we've just been so blessed because 8-9 years later we're still there, and we have just grown just so much tremendously. So we engage with education, we engage with research, awareness. We've grown from just me myself. I mean, when I initially started, I was not any church or any that would let me in and have a conversation about prostate cancer. I mean, I was not going to do it to get in there. I mean, I talked about it so much until I had friends that would say, "Boy, if you say one more word about prostate cancer,
that's because it's your passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because God gave it to you.
Yeah. And it was very clear to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was very. Mm-hmm. If I've never been clear of nothing in my life. I was clear about that.
That's how you know it came from him.
I was very clear about that. And so we've grown from just me to, we have a 7-person board of governors. We got, we're nonprofit in North Carolina and in Maryland. We've achieved numerous grant fundings to kind of do the work that we do. We have a huge prostate cancer bike ride, awareness ride in North Carolina, over 300 people per year. I mean, we've just grown by leaps and bounds. I mean, I could just go on and on talking about how this thing is just truly grown. But the number one thing for me, and I think I shared it with you, I said, man, it was just about me being obedient.
Yeah. I'm interested in a couple of things. Like what kind of gave you, because I know that, I'm a black man, and there, I'm getting old, my age is going up and down, in the mid-40s, got to start doing things differently.
Right.
I'm interested in like what lit the fire in you to say that, not only, kind of God leading you, but like from a practical standpoint, also what made you say, we need to be focusing on this. Like what made you really think that?
Well, when I was out in the community, and I was seeing this high incidence of mortality among men in Prince George's County. And then I moved on to start on a doctoral degree, and that doctor is writing and research, and most of my research was centered around prostate cancer. I mean, I had advisors that used to say, you know what, I want you to do more prostate cancer.
Some areas.
But I wouldn't do it.
Right, exactly. Stuff in your thing.
But it was because of the degree of inequity.
Yeah.
Because of the disparity.
Yeah.
Among African American men. It just propelled me to be engaged in the community, to get this message out, to educate, to in terms of engaging awareness and research. Imagine this. Imagine an electricity company, right, where you have all these thousands of cars going to this electricity.
Right.
But then from the factory, you have the 110 current that comes out and goes into the home. So that's kind of how I see it. There's all this information out here, and I have to take it, and I have to regulate, meaning break it down to the ordinary person in the community can kind of understand what it's saying. Like for example, when it comes to data, and when we do our education sessions, we don't throw a lot of data out there unless we've taken the data and we made it so this ordinary person can kind of understand what we're saying. We keep it simple when we do our educating. Oftentimes, I might have a chart at one of my sessions and I'll say, well, don't look at the numbers, just look at the color.
Right.
Look at the height of the red.
Right.
As opposed to the height of the yellow. The yellow may mean Caucasian men. The red may mean African American men or black men in a certain time frame. So you don't have to understand the data. Just look at the height of the color.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that'll give you some idea of the disparity.
Right.
That's
But yeah, I hear you around. I'll jump in here and you can pick back up. Around, we can't go in there talking about data visualization. You got to go in there and say, look, this is what that means.
right.
Can you see that? You see how that is different?
Right.
Then you have to make it. Some people will use the concept layman's term.
Right.
Making sure.
Layman's term.
Yeah, making sure people can. That's part of health communications.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get impact.
Right.
You don't get impact by further confusing people.
Right.
Right. I can't go up into a community that's impoverished, speaking 10 and 15 letter medical terms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You help people leaving like they came.
Yep.
Right.
Confused.
Walking away like, oh, okay, thank you for the information.
Yeah.
What the heck was he talking about? I don't even know what the hell he was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
That happens a lot.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So we have to be driven to kind of take this information and break it down into simple terms, so that the ordinary person can kind of understand the impact of this issue. And I must say to you, I think we've done a fairly good job of getting the message out and getting the message across, to our brothers.
Great. Awesome. I guess the other thing that I was interested in was the nuts and bolts of organizational design.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you build the organization? Like, what's the process? How did you go from A to Z?
Right.
Whereas now you have an operation in Maryland and you have an operation in North Carolina. You have nonprofit events. Like, there had to be somebody, and I'm assuming it was you just laying it out, or at least putting the pieces together for what was given to you through that vision. Like, how did you put it all together?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. So we all have heard of Steve Jobs, right?
Oh yeah.
Hello. You never told me that.
You never asked.
No, but we talked a lot, but go ahead. Okay.
Steve Jobs. I saw him doing this presentation to his group. He said, I don't know it all. I know people, and that just stuck with me, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it all. I know people, but I also knew how to pray and allow God to lead me. You got, see, that's the genesis of Emmanual, God before us, and I had to take that and make that be a part of my walk, man.
Yeah.
So this is God. This is something God has kind of given me. And he's given me the genesis behind it, Emmanuel. And not only that, he's given me the focus, God before us. So understanding that God sent people, man.
Yeah.
Right.
He sent people. I didn't know a lot, but he sent people.
Well, so back to what you're saying, he sent people.
Right, he sent people.
Because I find that a lot of people that I speak with, just in my own business, they may be interested in forming a 501c3 because that's your base, right? With the IRS, you guys are set up as a 501c3. Right. And so a lot of people sort of kind of shy away from that because they're like, I don't know how to do it. Where do I start? And because they can't put the pen to paper and get that part figured out themselves, they'll just say, forget about it. I'm not going to do it. So whereas you stay the course, and that doesn't necessarily mean you put the pen to paper.
Yeah.
Did you do it yourself? Did you hire a lawyer? I mean, this is for the people that want to start their own thing. Talk to them and tell them. So see, you didn't.
I didn't do any of that.
Did you take $1,500 and throw it at an attorney? What'd you do?
No, I didn't do any of that. God sent people that were anointed with skill sets. It's amazing how it all happened.
Collaboration.
It's amazing. Lord sent me a person. He sent an executive director, and they were so well connected with the state of Maryland and with organizations and business. They had worked with nonprofit before, and
that's your executive director.
Executive director.
Okay.
That was well connected.
Got you.
And then We have we have the former Secretary of Transportation of the State of Maryland that sits on our and so I just at my first board meeting, I was so at awe of the people sitting at that board, at that table. I was just speechless. But this is what God also revealed to me. I'm sending people with skill set to be able to do things that need to be done.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
That's right. Let people do what they do.
Get out of the way. I know what my skill set beginning in. I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I know what I'm capable of doing. And I get out of people's way, let them do their thing. And that has been awesome for us. And they realize that they deal with the and I don't really kind of get into I'm the president and I'm the founder, but they realize they deal with someone that's willing to allow them to be who they are.
That's right.
And I don't stand over their shoulders. I don't do whatever. When I have questions, I direct my questions to them, and we kind of. The Lord has blessed me with a treasure that is totally awesome.
But back to breaking things all the way down. So when you say that these people were sent to you, did you have friends tapping in saying, hey, by the way, do you have a board? I'm interested in sitting on your board. Or did you go to people and say, I'm forming this business, I'm creating a board, and I would like for you to be a part of it?
Well, when it was kind of the latter.
Okay.
Because when our executive director came on board, she recommended a board chair.
Okay.
These other people and not have you. So we got resumes and we went over resumes and we looked at that kind of thing and looked at the history in terms of what they do and that kind of thing.
So does everyone have to have like this fancy PhD and a fancy blah blah?
No, it's not even
talent.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
And some people, you look at some of these huge corporate organizations,
like Steve Jobs.
They may have to have all these sorts of things, but I trusted who God sent. That's what I did. I trusted who God. I knew that He was sending the right people to be in the right place at the right time, and I'm very comfortable with that. Very comfortable with that. And so we only have one PhD on our board. One. We have a minister. My treasurer. He's ex-military. I think he retires as lieutenant colonel. But
that's pretty fancy, Will. That's pretty fancy.
But it wasn't that we asked for that, and we didn't look at it because he's an ex-colonel. We looked at his ability to be able to manage money.
Right.
Yeah. And I saw how he managed his own personal money.
Correct.
Which to me was a clear indication of how he would manage the accounts with the money. And he set up. He set up all accounts for whatever we needed. He just set everything up, and it just flows flawlessly. And my job was to be out developing relationships with organizations. That's what I do.
See, you're outside. Back to being outside and networking. That's very important.
Right. So that's your role. So you said these folks have some technical skills. Let them do what they're great at, and I'll do what I'm great at, and it works together.
Absolutely. I don't step on anybody's feet. I don't stand on anybody's shoulder. You were sent. You have a specific skill set. So. And I know that God sent those to make this thing work the way it should work. And I just get out of everybody's way, man. We have our board meetings. If I have questions, if I have concerns or whatnot, I know who to kind of send an email to, get answers and that kind of thing and whatnot. But for the most part, my job is to be the face of the organization and to make the funding happen.
Ooh, that's important.
Well, I want to see, this is what I want to say because I want people to get this, is that Stephen Covey, since we dropping names, Steve Jobs, Stephen Covey talked about the speed of trust. And talk to us about, you said you did 19 years at Bowie State, right? So people trust you.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because you're consistent. And so, like, for our audience, it's like, if you're consistent and people trust you, you can attract a different type of person to your board.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
that's what I'm hearing out of it. So, 19 years,
Right.
7 years on the grant, proven capabilities. So, when I have a conversation with somebody, it's a different type of conversation. I can attract a different type of person because they know I'm going to produce an outcome. I know how to stick to something, and I'm consistent.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I have professors that were my professors at the university, and you're so right. You know, the consistency, and they reach out to me now, and it's not always wanting to be a part, but it's about making massive donations, man. You know what I mean? It's about you. They know who I am. They know what I'm about. They know there's a good cause.
So you're saying that you get good donations from your peers and your colleagues and other professionals. That's another big deal. That's something else that we need to tap into because I don't know if that's like a 501c3 thing in terms of donations.
Well, when you become 501c3, when you get that permission to operate as such through I'm going to say RA, from RS,
Right.
you can solicit funding.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so that's your role in the business?
Yes, that's part of my role.
Okay. So that's part of your role.
Yeah.
So another question that I have, it's just broad, not looking for details, but another plus to having a 501c3 is there are tax breaks there.
Oh, absolutely. That's kind of the sole purpose.
Hello.
You know, to file this with the IRS. Well, I wouldn't say the sole purpose, but certainly a benefit to the board to not have to pay taxes.
Right.
But also to be able to receive charitable funding.
I like that.
You know?
And
so,
give back all the
Yeah.
while. You're helping the community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so you're set up in a way
Mhm.
that the state, the federal government can help people.
Right, yeah. You can receive funding and, you know, you can write those grants and, you know, do all this sort of thing and receive the funding to kind of help, you know, move things along.
Right. So what advice would you give people, Will, that want to, again, I've had so many different conversations with people about, like, could you help me with my 501c3? That's just not my level of expertise. I can help you with your media and your tech and your website and all this stuff, but that's just not, and I've seen so many people just sort of kind of walk away from their ideas and their concepts because, and I don't know if it's that people don't want to invest in, you know, maybe everyone may not have someone that'll just come to them and say, hey, I'm here and I want to help.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
You know, it may not happen that way.
It may not happen either, like, but it happened like that for me. But no, for those of us that it doesn't happen that way, what advice would you give? Like to just make the investment and make it happen, right?
Well, I think you have to really have some concept of like, so what do you want to do?
Okay.
You know, like what do you want to do? Because that can determine your entire direction.
Yeah.
For me, it was revealed to me that I'm doing this, and so I knew I was going to be pursuing this work with prostate cancer. It was no doubt. So it's kind of simple for me. I kind of knew.
Yeah.
You know. So and so moving forward with completing the documents for the IRS. There was a very, I guess, kind of stringent process.
Yeah.
Because the application
Right.
was like 26 pages.
Don't scare people.
I'm not trying to
See?
scare people. You want me to? I'm being honest.
I want you to be honest. That's why people are afraid.
You know, well, I don't think it's about being afraid. I think it's about like, if you're gonna do it, then you should do it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the process. Like, it's going to be just like anything else about, when I started it, when I left the fire department years ago in 1999, my mother was like, boy,
Okay.
you want to leave that job.
That's a good job, boy.
That's a good job. And I was like, you know what, Mom? I don't have that kind of fear. I had no fear at all, man. I mean, I just like, I'm done.
But
and I didn't look back when I left. I just left.
But why didn't you have that fear? Because you're also a parent.
Right.
And, so just from a woman's perspective, even with an adult child, in my mind, I'm still like, well, I need to be in position just in case, like.
Well, I had something to lean on.
Got you.
I didn't just, oh, well, I'm done with this and have some other resource.
Right.
I had something to lean on.
Okay.
Because I had the route shopping that's going on. That was going on. I had people working for me in that regard. So I was making money. Well, let me change that. I had benefits.
Gotcha. Okay. Because you're also a veteran.
It's
all over the place.
Well,
you're here.
Well, but when I look back at that, I do say, man, you were all over the place. Boy, were you all over the place, man. You're right, but if that's what it took for me to get where I am today,
right.
I was just trying to find myself, I guess.
Well, I think sometimes everything leads to the purpose, and I tell myself these days that like if I didn't go through what I went through then, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
And able to do what I am now. So all of it matters, even if it seemed like it's over here.
You're right.
It all matters.
Right. And I took something from each avenue. I took something from HBCU that was crucial, that was huge, man. And it was like family, love, and support.
Yeah.
And now when I think back over when I was there, I was like, wow, what an awesome opportunity. Because I got friends there that went to predominant white colleges, man. And I'm always telling us, you might have went to that white college, dude, but you have no idea what it's like to go to HBCU. Like, it's just totally different kind of thing. So I took something from that, took something from the military, took something from the business. And you're right. Everything had, if you were to take that scenario and apply it to what Steve Jobs was saying, you don't know a lot, but you know people. Each one of those jobs, opportunities, where I was at, landed me at some aspect where I could take something from and build on what I had. And when I look back over my life, man, if I had to do it all over again, maybe some decisions I wouldn't make, but there's some things that I'm not sorry about that I traveled that road. But getting back to people that want to pursue a nonprofit, you should have some sense of like what you really want to do, really. And then getting through the permitting process, it's not that challenging, it's just time consuming.
Gotcha.
It can be time consuming.
Okay.
But it's a little different now than when I went through, because now they have, like for example, if you're an organization and if you don't anticipate that your organization is going to do no more than $50,000, then they have what's called the EZ form.
The short form, yeah.
Short form now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The short form.
Yeah. Okay. And you can kind of go out and pay a company to kind of do that for you, but I just wasn't willing to pay that for a company to do that for me. I mean, my executive director was like, "Nah, we'll do it." And
so I'm sorry. So let's say for those of us that would take that approach and just do the short form, does that limit your funding that you can get from the state or the federal government?
Again, if you anticipate, I believe it's 50,000 or less.
Okay.
Okay.
So that limits your bread. So go ahead and put the time in and do your full form. People.
Yeah. So and again, you got to have things in order. You got to have your articles of incorporation in order. You got to have your board in order. You got to have your EIN, your employee identification number in order.
Right.
You got to have all those documents to each other because the IRS is going to ask for it on that form.
Correct.
So it's quite a bit that you got to have, but it's very doable. It's very doable. People do it all the time.
They do.
You know, so
They do.
Yeah, just got to be consistent, and pursue it. You know, so everybody.
What's your if you had all the money you need, what would be the big execution or vision for Emmanual Health? Like, what would you do? Would it be just Maryland and North Carolina? Would it be national? What would internet? What would you do?
You ever heard of School Without Walls?
Yeah.
Well, and it's so I'm going to answer that because this is certainly in our strategic plan is to purchase a RV and to configure it to be able to provide screenings.
Yes.
Screenings is the best defense against prostate cancer. Early screening in particular. The earlier you get screened, the greater, there's a 99% survival rate. No other cancers you can speak of with that. But at any rate, I say without walls is because we would love to travel from state to state, engaging in education, engaging in screenings.
I see that happening for you guys.
Yeah, we've talked about that since onset, really.
Yeah.
But we just believe in that those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Those things are going to happen.
Yeah, so like a tour.
Yeah.
Like the Emmanual Health tour.
And that too, to be able to connect with different states and cities, with medical professionals. We have an awesome relationship right now with LabCorp where we can
That's great.
LabCorp where we can provide screenings.
But even if you pulled up in the neighborhood, would men actually come out and utilize the service?
Well,
because I know it's sort of kind of scary for y'all, like the whole thing. Like, I don't know, maybe it's better now, but I know back in the day, like during my Father's Day, they'd kind of be like,
trust issues.
Yeah, I'll rough it off before I do it. Like, I'm not doing that. Yeah, so trust. Okay.
Yeah, trust. It's amazing, and we all know about the Tuskegee study.
Correct.
But how many years ago was the Tuskegee study?
So is it trust, or is it just the procedure itself?
Well, let me share with you what I've experienced through my years. I've been doing this for a minute. It's a combination of things.
Yeah.
It's just one thing. It's trust. Because it's challenging if you just trusted someone for a long period of time. It's challenging for that person to go into your community and expect to be able to engage in this kind of work.
Right.
Now let me just get down to the nuts and bolts about it. Sometimes it's a lot easier for us to trust someone who look like us.
Correct. I do.
Okay.
I do. Otherwise, I ain't feeling it too tough. When I walked in here today and seen the producer, I was like, okay, we good to go. I'm just saying. Perfect example.
Yeah.
Shout out to LED Studios.
Exactly.
And a lot of companies out there now reach out to us because they have access to resources, but they can't necessarily. We're like gatekeepers.
Okay. Yeah.
Communities, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Period.
I can go in the community.
Yeah.
And have a conversation with you, and you probably never seen me before in your life.
Yeah.
You probably be more open to talk to me than you would a Caucasian never come in the community and have that kind of conversation. It's just kind of what it is. So the trust is there. And so you say to yourself, wow, the Tuskegee study happened years ago.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, does it still transcend into, well, distrust is distrust.
Yeah.
Now, whether it be the Tuskegee study or whether it be just how we as a people may have just seen over the years how things have just gone, in terms of black, white, or inequity, or
well, we still have some of the airmen living to this day.
Yeah, we do.
So
yeah,
it's a real thing.
So a lot of these companies, man, they kind of reach out to us and want to engage. Like now, I have a relationship with a company called Dendron. Dendron is a huge major pharmaceutical that developed a drug called Prospent. Prospent was probably the first drug approved by FDA that in terms of treating, it focuses on immunotherapy. It focuses on strengthening your immune system. And they go through a process where they take cells away from the body and they send them through a process. They use the term training them to attack cancer cells. But when you look at the data out there, man, there are some improvements when it comes to breast cancer, and some things for prostate cancer. So I have this relationship with this company, and they want to engage in the community. But we have to be careful about how we approach that, man.
Right.
Because we don't want to it to be like the Tuskegee study where they use the blackface
Right.
to get into the community to build trust.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So we have to be careful about how we approach that.
You do.
And we have to have the conversation with us. Still a challenge with getting men out to get screened.
It is.
I mean, there's a reason why we're 2.5 times more likely to die for prostate cancer. There's a reason why 1 in 8 men, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
And because African American men just kind of don't see, let me say this, a certain percentage.
Yeah.
I'm not going to categorize it into, all African American men. I'm going to say a certain percentage of African American men.
Okay.
I'm going to say some men of color. They don't see the benefit of it. There are men out there there are men that don't want to know. There are men that anything that's going to impact them sexually, they step away from it, like you said.
Correct.
Some have issues with the testing.
Right.
Some men with a digital rectal exam. Oh man,
But I'm sure with technology now things have moved along and the process is simpler. I'm just assuming.
Well, when it comes to the testing,
because either way you got to do it, fellas. You got to do it.
Yeah. You talk to a lot of urologists and they'll say, the digital rectal exam. That's what they insert the finger. That is the first introduction to the prostate, and that is, there's nothing probably more what can I say, accurate than actually touching and feeling. You can take the blood, you can take the PSA, the prostate specific antigen, you can take the blood, which is basically a hormone. It's not necessarily determines prostate cancer. It's like a biomarker, it's like a flag. Something's going on. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Because the prostate gives off this hormone, and anything that kind of exercises it or anything of that nature can cause the hormone to be deposited into the blood system. And if you take if I were to go out and cycle tomorrow,
yeah,
and then go take a PSA Monday,
okay,
I probably would get a high reading,
okay,
because of the sitting on the seat on the bike, agitating the prostate. Yeah, it gets off a high reading.
Yeah, so fellas out there, for me it was about instituting health practices, becoming used to having health practices. And I'm young, but I have had a prostate test before.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't happy about it. It wasn't something I was looking forward to.
Right.
But I had to do it.
Right. I get it.
And I had to do it, and
it's smart, and women like that because to us it says, "Oh, this guy actually takes care of himself."
Facts.
We like that. They're like, "Oh, okay, so he takes care of himself. He's into his health, so he's taking things into consideration." It's just like a box that we check in our head, and we like it. That may not discount you, but it's definitely a box. It's like, oh, okay, so he's like into his health and he's into his wellness, and we just like it. So
he's looking for something before it happens. Right.
It's just like us with our breast cancer exams. You got to do it. We do it. It's just part of the thing. Like you just go and you deal with it. So that's like our version of you guys' screening for prostate cancer. It's just human nature. It has to happen.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you did that because there's a lot of guys out there that if there's anything that's going to impact them sexually, man, I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
I'm not going to take that exam. I don't want to be, that's homosexual tendencies, man.
But the other thing is if you don't go,
right,
then it might impact you sexually.
Right.
Fruits of your labor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it may impact you. And just check this out. It impacts you more than just a man. It impacts the wife,
the family,
the community, everybody.
Yeah.
Let me share this. Let me share with you how instrumental women are.
Yes.
First line caregivers.
Yes. We take care of the family.
First line
We
caregiver.
take care of everybody. It's just human nature. It's just what we do. It's natural for us. So we have to be involved in the process.
Absolutely.
How many women do you have sitting on your board?
We have 7 people and 1, 2, 3 of us are men.
Okay. All right. So here we are.
But I value that.
Yeah, because y'all need women, especially black women. If you don't have a black woman on your team, it's a wrap. It's not going to work the way you want it to work. I'm just telling you now. Okay, so I need you to drop a jewel. We ask everyone to drop a jewel for young entrepreneurs or for anyone that is thinking about starting something similar to Emmanual Health. Like, I need you to drop at least a jewel and give them a piece of advice in terms of getting started.
Well, it's important that you have some idea of what you want to do and pursue it at all costs. I mean, we all have a gift. And if that's what you want to do, and if you don't pursue your gift, how will you ever know?
But we want to thank you for being on today, and shout out to our viewers for chiming in, for Mr. Battle here. Not only was he our guest today, but dropped this little thing that he's a part of the greatest fraternity in the world.
Absolutely.
The Omega side.
Absolutely.
So we'll make sure we get that out there, so all the people out there know, and they understand that.
And we got nervous sessions for all those out there that decided to do other colors.
We have nervous sessions for them.